Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and welcome to the 10th episode of the Choking Hazard podcast with my co-hosts Sugar-Free Nos over there,
Hello.
RDT right down there, and we have a message from somebody special, so I'm going to leave Nos to take it away.
We do, bruv, we do. This episode of the Choking Hazard podcast is brought to you by Geek Fuel. Geek Fuel is a monthly mystery subscription box that sends you at least $50 in items for just $15 a month plus shipping and handling. These boxes contain anywhere from 5 to 7 geeky items, a full downloadable game, and an exclusive t-shirt. The variety of brands featured in each one make it practically Comic-Con in a box. It really is a fantastic product. And Geek Fuel has so much confidence you'll love their product, they're doing something no other geeky subscription box has done before. They're offering a free, yes, free box to anyone who wants to try them out.
What? Did you just say free box?
I did, RDT. Free box. It's a free box, completely free.
Wow!
Yeah, it is completely free, RDT. As shocked as you may be, because this company is so confident that that's what they're going to do. And you can get your free box and try them out today by using geekfuel.com/BruffyFreeBox.
Amazing! Just pay shipping and handling.
Just pay shipping and handling. Yes.
Yay! We got a sponsor!
Hey, look at that.
There we go.
I feel somewhat professional.
Yeah,
Let's go.
we're a real podcast now.
Yes,
Real podcast. Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah, I love the. I mean, I would be no good at doing those ad reads. I gotta leave it to. I gotta leave it to RDT and
like
Nos.
on a less scripted note, Geek Fuel is quality product. Like I've watched your unboxings of them, because you do those unboxings. Like some of those T-shirts you get are really sweet.
Yeah, I think really Geek Fuel is one of the ones that I always recommend. Some of them come and go, like when I always used to do the unboxings, and some used to be good, some used to be bad week in, week out, but Geek Fuel was always the one that has stood out amongst the rest of them.
It's consistently good.
Yeah, you can get a free box. That's pretty crazy. They're so
What's
confident.
the best shirt that you've got?
By the way, they have to get their free box before the 31st of July.
Right, there's a
31st of July is when it ends. But yeah, you can get a free box, just pay shipping and handling. And there you go. What were you saying? The best shirt?
What's the best shirt you've gotten? Because I get them a bit mixed up. Can you remember?
The best shirt I ever got was the Snorlax t-shirt.
Yes,
with the Nike tick that just said just do it later. That was the best.
Yeah, that is a quality shirt. The shirts are definitely the highlight, but everything in the box is quality. Like even if it's not to your niche, it is always a quality product. So
yeah.
Really
if anybody's watching the podcast and hasn't seen my unboxings, I don't actually do them anymore in as much detail as what I do. I still do them on stream every now and then, and I'll be putting them up on Bruffy's Random Bits. But yeah, feel free to go watch the unboxings. They were quite good, but they just took too much time for me to continue doing them like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always some interesting stuff in those boxes. And yeah, you can get one for free. And Geek Fuel, our first ever sponsor for the podcast, has taken 10 episodes.
They're a brave company, let me tell you.
They are a very, very brave company.
That's pretty good. 10 episodes, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, we've been. I mean, you know, the professionalism is getting higher. We're a true podcast now.
Confidence, guys.
Yeah,
that's all we need is confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. We are the best podcast out there.
Yeah, basically.
So yeah, Geek Fuel, get a free box. We'll mention that again at the end of the podcast as well. But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about sponsorships and things like that during this one. But the main topic of this podcast is going to be basically about games, video games, our history with video games, games that we like, why we like gaming, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be the main topic. But I mean, I guess we'll talk a little bit about sponsorships because it can be often seen as, you know, sellout and all that. A lot of people in the chat now are joking, obviously, when they say sellout. But there's some people who don't like that sort of thing and seem to think that if you're on YouTube or Twitch, you shouldn't make money from it. But I think the one thing that I'll point out about this sponsorship in particular is that it's only a one-off. It's not every single podcast that we do. But the money that we've gotten for doing this sponsorship mention for this one episode was enough to pay for the audio version of the podcast to be hosted for an entire year. So those who listen to this in the audio version, that
In your
was paid
car,
for.
you can keep on trucking.
Yeah.
All right, because
Letting Nos live the dream.
Yeah,
That was paid
letting
for
me live
by
the
Geek
dream
Fuel.
of amateur radio hosts. Thank you.
So we always have to mention those guys every single podcast. Those who listen in the car on their way to work. But yeah, that's that's the sort of thing that sponsorships allow you to do. They allow the podcast itself to be in an audio version, just because of they want to sponsor the podcast. So Geek Fuel has allowed that to happen, and thanks to them for sponsoring the podcast.
Yeah, not just sponsor, but support as well.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I feel like the show is a quality enough show to put their name on it. So, yeah, that's fun. Or put their name in it, maybe not on it, but or adjacent to it. I don't know. I don't know how this works. So,
all right. So let's talk about games. Who wants to start us off with games?
very safe topic. I've got to say this week.
Yeah.
We're gonna cause some controversy here.
Do you think?
I'm not going to
Games.
cause any controversy at all.
All right, well, give us your non-controversial views. Where did you start in gaming, RDT? Where
All
did
right,
you
well,
start? What's the?
I'll give you
When did
the
you play your first
timeline.
game?
My first system was the Nintendo 64. When I
What a
was,
system.
I don't know how old I was, like
What a
4 or
system.
something like that. And I guess my first game was like Super Mario 64. And so I was always just the mainstream consumer of I was doing all the popular games. But I would say my favorite game from that time that had the most impact on my love of video games was GoldenEye. Because oh my god, the hours that would be spent in friends' houses with 4 controllers, just no odd job, and just going around and shooting each other. It was great
that game was
for
special.
a young 7-year-old or whatever to just shoot and kill as many people as I did. It was fantastic.
That game was incredible.
Yeah,
What a
and
game.
so my favorite games, that's probably my favorite game. And then you have Ocarina of Time, which is another mainstream. That's not a very controversial opinion to have. That it's
I've
a great
never
game.
played a Zelda game. That might be controversial.
Somebody get triggered. You've
Yeah.
triggered somebody.
What?
I think it's not going to be as controversial. It's just going to be triggering for the amount of games that I haven't played.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I think that's gonna be your
crazy.
downfall because
Never,
you don't
ever
even.
played.
I don't think you play video games, do you? You just.
I've played video games. We'll get on to my history with gaming. Don't worry. I've been playing
I'm
video
interested.
games since before you were born, probably.
Could be.
All right, old man.
I don't know. Yeah, you old fart. Get out of here. And so, yeah, I went Nintendo 64. I was a real Nintendo nerd back in the day. Nintendo 64 to a GameCube. And then, like, at the end of its life, I bought a PS2. And then Xbox 360 to the Xbox One. And that's, but I still think I still have my Nintendo 64 at my apartment in Philadelphia. And
Well, that's sweet.
I enjoy playing that, I think, more than I like playing some of these games sometimes because they're just so simple and fun.
I still have my N64. I've been meaning to do a old game stream at some point.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Can
I'd
you
watch that
stream
now.
N64?
Can we just stop this podcast? Go watch
Yeah,
that.
let's quit the podcast.
I'd watch that right now. That sounds
It
awesome.
seems like you made good console choices, RDT. Like you went N64, GameCube, PS2, then the Xbox 360. It just all went downhill at the last stage.
Yeah, my last purchase.
Go on then, Nos. What about you?
Well, I started out. I think I had when I was very, very young, like little. I think we had a Super Nintendo, maybe, like a Super Nintendo, maybe. Again, I can't remember. It was so long ago. Like I was 3, 4. But the majority of my gaming memories come from the PlayStation and the PlayStation 2 when I was a kid. Because I'm a little bit. I think I'm the youngest here. How old are you again, RDT? You're
22.
22. Yeah. So I'm definitely the youngest here. But like even from a young age, I've been playing games I probably shouldn't be playing. Like I remember one of my best memories was playing Silent Hill on
Oh,
the original
Jesus.
PlayStation. Yeah, it was, because my mother plays games too, and she would sit there and play that, and I'd watch her, I'd play or whatever. And Silent Hill was an amazing game on the PlayStation. But other than that, really, there wasn't. I can't remember too much about having a PlayStation, but PlayStation 2 is really when I started to really remember games, like the whole 3D era of GTA, of course, and Gran Turismo 4, of course. I've been playing that some more recently. Actually, it's been a lot of fun. But Gran Turismo 4 was the only thing that I had in racing for a long time until GTA, of course. So. But yeah, most of my gaming memories comes from PS2. Just the standard PS2 games that you've probably all played. I played, but when we were time for a pity party, we didn't have that much money growing up, just like everybody else. So
Walk uphill in the snow both ways to get to school to buy my video games.
Game purchases were few and far between, so we had to focus on playtime. So that's why we would buy these long-term games. And 360 was the system I got after PS2. So I played the main games. Like I played all the Bethesda games, of course, because those are big games for if you need a lot of content for a little money. So like Fallout New Vegas is probably one of my favorite games of all time. You've got Fallout 3 as well, and Skyrim and Oblivion.
Never played any of those.
I know you haven't. But yeah. Well, I didn't go from PC to PlayStation. I went from 360 to PC. Because we bought the 360, and I'll start a war. Look, this is just my opinion. The 360 was the superior system during that time frame. Yeah, well, people are still going to argue with you. So we bought a 360, and then it got time to move. It got time. PS4's out, Xbox One's out. All of my friends are doing whatever, and I've been looking for some games to play, and I stumble across like people like Total Biscuit and other PC gamers, and it's like this seems much better than what I could get. So that's when I went to PC after 360. So, and before we move on from 360, I can't not mention my favorite game, which is Red Dead Redemption. That's by far my favorite game. I know that comes as a bit of a surprise.
Never played Red Dead Redemption.
I would like genuinely recommend you go back and play that, Bruffy.
I probably should.
Since you have an Xbox One as well, you can play it on backwards compatibility there, and you'll get an actual unprecedented solid 30 FPS. So I know it's wild, but I would definitely recommend going back and playing it.
You have to.
Yeah, I probably should really.
And the Bioshock games. Never give up. Come on. Go back.
And then we moved to PC, and most of my gaming history is kind of everyone knows that by now. GTA, some racing games, other stuff. So.
Yeah, I think later on we'll talk about our first GTA games and the old GTA games a little bit, but I guess I'll go on to
some great stories there.
Oh yeah, I'll go on to my my history. I actually started with a Sega Mega Drive.
Ooh, that's
but it wasn't. It was one of the later versions of it, like one of the last versions that didn't actually do very well. It was too expensive, and it was at the end of the life cycle of the console. It was called the Sega Multi Mega. It is, and I searched it on eBay a few days ago actually, and it's going for like 300, 400, 500 pounds right now. That console, I still have it. Nice. I'll probably never get rid of it just for sentimental reasons. But
never get rid of it.
That's what I had first when I was like 5-6 years old. Playing Micro Machines was one of the games that I played the most back then. I loved those games so much, and that's pretty what started me into racing, to be honest. Especially with racing games. But after that, it was the N64, same thing as RDT with GoldenEye, and then I had one of the F1. I think F1 97, I think it was. I had on the N64, and all the standard N64 games. One of my favorite ever games of all time is on the N64, Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
Ooh,
What a game
yeah.
that was.
That's a
I
good
actually
one.
went back when I found all my N64. I plugged it in and went back and played it all through. Got gold medals on every single mission, apart from one, and I just couldn't do it even now. So I still haven't done that, but maybe I need to play through that again on stream or something. But that was a fantastic game. I loved it. Then after the N64, I got a PS2 just for GTA 3. One of my friends had GTA 3 on his PS2, and I played it at his, and I was like, oh my god, I need this. So I got a PS2 just for GTA 3. Well, my parents did, obviously. And then, the classic PS2 games. I had PS2 for a long time. We obviously with the Vice City and the San Andreas.
Yeah, PS2 was a very long-lived console. How long was that around having games published? 10 years plus?
It was long. I mean, it was the same. It's the same with the next generation after that. That was long as well because of the financial crisis and all that. People didn't release new consoles because of that.
Thanks,
so
Obama.
We've had two very, very long platform cycles. But yeah, the PS2 was really, really good. And then I went to the 360. I did actually play the original Xbox. I played Halo cooperative all the way through. I actually really enjoyed the storyline of that, the original Halo game, but I never owned the original Xbox myself. I just played
Cooperative with who?
With just a friend who had the Xbox and he had Halo, and I think we finished it in one night. We just played it through all night.
Friends?
I know, it's so strange. So yeah, then I went to the 360 and I got the 360 again for another game, Gears of War. I saw Gears of War. I decided I had to have it, so I got the 360. And then I had Gears of War 2 and 3, and the 360 was for a long time. I got a PS3 for... no, I had a PS3, but I didn't really use it. And then I got GTA on the PS3 because I was doing the YouTube stuff, so I could create the tracks on both sides. And then ever since then, I've kind of had to, with YouTube, I've had to have both consoles that have run GTA. It's pretty much as soon as they've come out. So, but PS4 was the one that I got after the 360. Really, the 360 was my main one, and then I went to PS4. And since then, I've kind of died down on the number of games I've played. I mean, Mass Effect was probably my biggest game series on 360.
Talk about that. Yeah, I want to hear about your experience with Mass Effect because I've played the trilogy. I haven't played Andromeda, so.
Oh man, Mass Effect is top 2 in my all-time favorite series. I think it's only just beaten by Portal. It was the original Mass Effect that I love the most. The first game, I didn't really know what to expect with it, and it was the first game that I'd kind of had like that in that style, the RPG story-driven type.
And
stuff.
it was definitely Mass Effect 1 was definitely more of a traditional RPG as well. Like kind of dumped down the RPG elements as you moved further in the series.
Yeah.
That's one I've never played. Never played any Mass Effect games.
It was the original. It was the storyline more so than anything else that got me in, and the fact that your choices had impact and an effect and things like that. It just totally sucked me in completely, and I just thought it sounded like a cool concept when I read it, and I just found it by chance, and I thought, I'll pre-order this, and I got it for my 18th birthday, I think, off my parents. Wow. And I played the hell out of it, and the same with 2 and 3. Scarred for life by the end of 3, and I haven't managed to get much through Andromeda yet. It's not really pulling me in as much as the others did. But,
playable.
Yeah.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite podcast on the Citadel.
But yeah, the original Mass Effect game is probably my second favorite game of all time.
All right, let's
it's in my top
Mass
5,
Effect
but
fans.
I can't order them yet. But
let's you gotta answer a question.
What?
Male Shepherd or female Shepherd?
Male Shepherd, I did.
My man. Even though Jennifer Hale's voice acting is superior, but it's just
how's a woman gonna be a commander? I mean, come on, let's be realistic.
Now that's something that will actually trigger somebody. Watch out.
Kappa.
Yeah, I played Male Shepherd too. I like Mark Meir. I like his voice.
Yeah, I do. I
did you customize the character model at all?
I didn't know. I left him.
My man, I didn't either because, like, in my opinion, for Mass Effect, you're not playing yourself. You're playing Commander Shepard. You're playing your version of Commander Shepard, but you're playing Shepard. You are Shepard.
Yeah, that's what I felt as well.
So
but that's the thing with Andromeda. Like the characters just haven't pulled me in anywhere near like they did originally with the original games. The storyline's not there as much. The characters just aren't there. The main character, I just can't. I just have no. It's just like it's.
Yeah,
I can't say anything.
Yeah, it's not. From what I've heard, it's not a very good game. So
it's such a shame. But I think games are better in threes. I think if you do a trilogy. I can't think of a fourth game or a fifth game that have lived up to the original trilogy. Because I don't think Gears of War 4 was as good as the original 3 as well. But
yeah, I would guess Grand Theft Auto 4 was as good as the 3D era. So
a lot of people don't think so. I actually liked it, but no.
Well, I love GTA.
Was it as
4.
good as the 3D era though? I don't know. I don't even think GTA 5 is as good as the 3D era.
The Mass Effect games, they're connected, aren't they? Like the 3?
Yeah, you transfer,
like GTA is
transfer your
standalone.
save.
They're kind of, an anthology.
That's true. They're not really sequels, are they?
AJ.
So that's our history. We've been going a while with games. We've been brought up well with games.
Yeah.
I
sprinkled in a couple terrible ones on Nintendo 64 that I enjoyed, but I've gone back as a kid. I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But then going back,
we all have those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Mega Man 64. I remember last year I went to go put it in, and my roommate Jerry, he looked it up. He's like, "This has a 4 out of 10 on the rating." I was like, "Nah, this game's amazing." I started playing it. I just started raging, and he kept leaning over at me and going, 4 out of 10. I was like, "Shut up! I love this game. It's amazing."
Yeah, I think we all have games like that we thought were great back then, but when we go back and actually try them, they're not anywhere near as good. But they're more sentimental. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some sentimental games out there for me. Like, I think one of the biggest games in my childhood that it actually has a place in a childhood is probably Spyro, Year of the Dragon. If either of you played that.
I've heard about it, but I've never played it.
Spyro was a fantastic game. It was you had the cute little purple dragon. It was a good game. It was a solid game. I've watched some speed runs of the game recently, and it's still just as amazing as it used to be. Spyro is fantastic.
Okay. What about our favorite games? What, like, if we had to choose either series or games? Like, I guess I'm kind of the same as Nos in that not necessarily. I wasn't exactly the richest, so I could go and buy games all the time either. So I always tended to focus on one game at a time. And if I didn't like it, I would just kind of not play it and move on to something that I wanted to spend a lot of time on. So I haven't had this wide variety of games that I've played. Obviously, as we've seen, haven't played a Zelda game, I haven't played Red Dead. It has to. It's been few and far between. But of the games that I've played, I have put a lot of hours into, and I really, really enjoy them and the whole series of them. I kind of wish that I played more games, but I'm very much knowing, I think, at this point, the kind of game that I like. But let's talk about favorite games.
Who's gonna start?
Nas, what's your favorite game?
We can do that. Favorite.
We can do multiple games as well.
Yeah, we can do multiple games.
Or like series or whatever.
Anyone play Driver? Yeah. See, in some of these games, I'm not going to remember unless it's mentioned in chat. I did play Driver.
I played Driver 3 on my first ever YouTube video.
That was the shitty one, right? Yeah, with the video. That was your first ever video.
That was my first ever video on YouTube. Is Driver 3 movie scenes. It had a movie creator. The Rockstar editor is like good. Out of date. It's by 10 years. Driver 3. I was like 15 when I made that. I enjoyed that game. I didn't enjoy the game. I enjoyed the movie making aspect of the game. I don't think I actually played the story.
But it was a bad game.
Yeah, I didn't play the story at all. Now that I think about it.
But if it worked on PCSX2, I'd go back and play it right now. But it's not playable. So anyway, favorite games. I'd have to, just because the value it has to me and how much time I spent with it, it has to be Red Dead Redemption. My first online gaming I had was at a cousin's house. He had a 360 and Xbox Live, and he had Red Dead Redemption, and I played that game from, I just had a normal sleep schedule at that time. I played that game from 6 at night to 8 in the morning.
Jesus.
Online. And I think I got to like level 25 in one night just screwing around with random people I met on Xbox. And this is back when I was 12, so I was a little squeaker. It was pretty bad. But not, But yeah, so that was the first interaction I had, and then in Christmas 2012 was the first year that we had internet in the old trailer. That was the first time. So I had a 360 and I had Red Dead Redemption, and online Red Dead Redemption just kind of consumed me. I think I have over 90 days in the game. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Red Dead Redemption just has a certain simplicity to it that really works, but you can kind of do anything you want. And the PvP was reasonably well balanced and just fluid. Really, it was fluid, reasonably well balanced, somewhat skill based, even if it was a lock on type deal, since it was on console. You still had to be halfway decent to be good at the game. But it's just that has so much value to me because the story is fantastic. The online was, I still think that's my favorite online game of all time.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
I just want to interrupt a little bit before the chat goes, and I forget mentioning one people have said in the chat. Tucker Race Driver 3. That was, I think, my second ever game that I played online. That was a fantastic racing game on a PS2.
Taco racing.
Tucker.
Taco trucks?
Okay. I was very confused.
It was. There was so much about that game that I wish was just in racing games now. Like, and Project Cars has been the closest to that, I think, in recent times. But yeah, a really, really good racing game. And Need for Speed was actually Need for Speed Underground 2, I think it was. May have been the original. Either the original or 2. That was the first ever game I played online. I took on my PS2 and TV downstairs where the router was. This is way back with, it wasn't quite dial-up, I don't think, but it was very slow broadband when we just got it. I took everything downstairs, plugged it in via Ethernet, and played like 1 or 2 races on Need for Speed, and then had to take it all back upstairs again. Like, that was my first experience of online gameplay. And then Tucker Race Driver 3 was second, but that was those were some great games as well. They're not in my top, but those were some great games, and I just wanted to mention them.
All right. So anyway, I can just
Soriano also said anyone's parents get oddly good at games. My stepdad actually was very, very good at GoldenEye. He beat GoldenEye way before I did. He just straight through it. It was unbelievable. Anyway, carry on.
Well, I'll answer that question, then I'll continue with some other games. My mother has never been good at video games, much to her dismay, but she has always played video games, so that's where I get it from. Anyway, so let's see. We've got... I guess I can just kind of go in order of how much time I put into games. That might work, and then list some others. Second most time I put into a game is Battlefield 3, actually. I know Bruff isn't a fan of first-person shooters. Do you ever play Battlefield 3, RDT?
No, I don't think so.
No. Battlefield 3 is by far one of my favorite shooters ever. It was so fun, and just I can't contain my love for Battlefield 3. The whole Battlefield series is pretty good, but Battlefield 3 is an excellent game. We've got, the GTA series, of course. We've talked about those quite a bit. What else? I mentioned Spyro as well from my childhood. What else? The Silent Hill series is always a good one as well. The Mafia series is pretty good, although I didn't play... What?
You fucking playing Silent Hill when you were
yeah. Look, it
In
was
vitro.
a good game. Look, a good game is a good game no matter how old you are, okay? Look, if a 4-year-old needs to teach Pyramid Head that he's not welcome here, all right? You gotta do it.
I guess you could face your fears that way.
Bad
You know, you're
Company
not gonna
2
be-
was one of the greatest FPSs ever made. Adam is correct. Crash greater than Spyro. Fight me.
Oh,
Come down
fuck
here.
Crash Bandicoot.
Devil May Cry was a series
Crash
from my
Racing was
childhood
fun.
as well that I played around the same time as Silent Hill, back on the PS2. It was one of my first games on PS2. Thanks for the reminder, Raymo.
I
But
enjoyed a
Devil May
little
Cry.
bit of Crash and Tekken as well, but again, I didn't own them. There's quite a few games that I used to play at friends that I enjoyed, but I never owned. Again,
Yeah,
for
same. I was a
reason,
big
but-
when Hollywood Video and Blockbuster were still a thing. I was a big renter of video games.
I never used to
'cause-
rent games. Actually, I should have
always because
Yeah.
my mom would always be like, let's get a movie, and I was like, let me get a video game.
done that.
She's like, fine, you little bastard, get out of here. And so yeah, I got to try out a lot of games that way.
Speaking of Battlefield, I'm actually considering giving Battlefront 2 a go.
Looks good
Because
Does.
Battlefront, the
They're-
original one, I actually bought it, and then because of the lack of content and the ridiculous
Did you buy it on
DLCs and all
console?
that kind of stuff, what?
Did you buy it on console?
I can't remember, to be honest. But I think it was I think I bought it on PS4, and I didn't
Okay.
even open it and put it in. I just sent it back because I didn't agree with what they were doing with any of the nonsense, and the reviews were coming in with no content and all this stuff. So I just thought, screw it, I'm not putting any time into it. But I love Star Wars, and third-person games I like, and you can do third-person stuff.
Yeah,
in that.
that's
So
right. There's a third-person camera. option.
I'm considering giving Battlefront 2 a go.
I'd definitely recommend on PC and trying out a shooter with a mouse and keyboard. That could be.
That's what I'm considering as well. And Anthem looks very good as well. That's true. New BioWare game. Anyway, but let's not talk about future games. Screw that.
Yeah, future games. Sure.
Are you done with your favorite games? Should we move on to
Um,
RDT? Any last?
I will mention one game. I'll mention a bad game. It's possibly one of the worst games I've played, but also it is one of my very favorites. And people might not actually know this game. It's a very niche game, but has anyone here played Deadly Premonition by any chance? I know you two haven't, for sure.
Yeah, of course.
But there's got to be at least someone in the chat that's played Deadly Premonition. But if you don't know what that game is, give it a look up. It is fantastic. The story is just it's one of those unintentional comedy type deals. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of so bad, so good. So I would definitely recommend that. It's a real bitch to run on PC. It's a mess, but yeah,
Okay.
I guess no one here has played it, but played Minecraft. Go leave, please. kind of like Heavy Rain. Yeah, all of David Cage's games are terrible. Okay, let's just put that out there. They're also in that category of so bad they're good. So
I've never played Heavy Rain, but it's something that I want to play. I feel like story-driven games are the thing that I enjoy
yeah,
the most
go
these
play
days.
since
but-
you like those, go play the David Cage games. Go play
Yeah.
Indigo Prophecy, Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, like those games.
Yeah.
Made by him. They're pretty bad, but they're enjoyable, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense. So
Okay. RDT, what are your top games?
An open
Let's-
world survival horror game. That's interesting. Deadly Premonition. Anyway, I mentioned it earlier, and I would have to say that my favorite game, just from the pure nostalgia factor, from all the times that I played it, the hours that I spent, is GoldenEye. And on that same note, just like any James Bond game, really, because I'm such a huge James Bond fan, and being able to put yourself into 007's holster and just seduce women and shoot bad guys, it's something I'll never do in real life. So
Who's
especially
your
the
favorite
stupid
Bond?
women part. But what?
Who's your favorite Bond?
Ooh, probably Sean Connery.
Yeah, you
I
can't
would
look
say.
past Sean Connery. I always used to
Yeah.
like. Damn it, name's gone.
See, I like Roger Moore.
Yeah,
People
I
don't
like Roger Moore's movies, but I think Connery was just the best.
Yeah. World is Not Enough. Yeah, of course I did. I played Agent Under Fire. What was there was another one. I can't remember, but it had like a grappling hook, and I would always sling up there and kill my cousins, and they got mad. Um, but it's just like so much GoldenEye, because one of my fondest memories is I was at my cousin's in Florida, and he had a Nintendo 64 in his room, and he was like, just go in there and play video games. You don't have to hang out with the family. So I was like, yes. I'm playing the mission where you're in the tank in like St. Petersburg.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I'm running over innocent civilians, and my mom comes in and hears people screaming for their lives and getting squished, and she's just like, what the hell are you playing right now? You must stop. And so I was like, I won't kill anybody anymore, I guess. She's like, that's the entire game. I can tell just from this. So she made me turn it off.
Your parents weren't as cool as mine. Let me fight Pyramid Head
at
the age of 4.
She was not cool with me running over red shirt civilians.
Oh,
God.
Man.
Collateral damage.
So I think
man.
you got no other mentions of top games.
I mean, Red Dead Redemption is definitely up there for me. Yeah, I mean, Ocarina of Time is another one. I told you I was not going to be controversial because I just
all the classics.
All the classics. Ocarina of Time, I love. There was one game that I always played. It was like Olympic Games 2000 or something. I don't know. Just these stupid games like Gex Enter the Gecko, which was it's apparently people shit on it. They think it's terrible, but I always thought it was amazing. These are games that I'll go back and play and just nostalgia out.
Yeah, so many games. I kind of feel like that's missing these days. Like, you don't keep the games anymore, and you don't go back to them really that much. Like, you just forget about them and move on.
Done.
Yeah. All right, I guess this has been something that people have asked me this question quite often about my favorite games. And initially I got it down to my favorite game series because that's all I could do. I couldn't actually choose games within those series. But now I've finally managed to get it down to, I think I've got my top 5 favorite games down, but I can't. I don't think I can figure out an order of them. But as a addition to that, I do like all of the games in the series. These are just the ones that I've picked out as my favorite games out of, say, Gears of War. I prefer Gears of War 3, but I like first and second one as well, you know. So Gears of War 3 is in my top 5. Pokemon Soul Silver is definitely in my top 5. I almost failed my degree because of that game. The Portal 2, the original Mass Effect 1, and damn it, GTA Vice City.
Yeah.
And also special mention to the Guitar Hero games. Those would be like 6th. I can't. There's no Guitar Hero game I think that stands out as the rest, but I've loved all of them and I've played them to death.
Legends of Rock.
I never played Guitar Hero 3 actually.
What are you doing with your life?
My first Guitar Hero game. Okay, now I've played it because we have it downstairs in the living room, but I hadn't played it until like 2 months ago. But Guitar Hero Aerosmith was my first Guitar Hero game. I couldn't even complete the game on easy. Of
course it was. We know you. Of course it was.
But I couldn't even complete the game on easy. I played it so much that I was able to get to expert, and then I played all the other games, and then I got the latest Rock Band as well, and I can play on expert, and I'm quite good at it. So I really enjoy those games, but they don't quite make it into the top 5. And we've played so many great games of story-driven games on stream. I've played Last of Us, but not on stream. That was a great story-driven game. All the the Telltale games that we've played, Life is Strange, Until Dawn, is definitely in the top 10. I didn't expect that to be
really.
I didn't expect that to be as good as what it turned out to be. You know, I love these story-driven games, but none of them get into that top 5 that I've just listed. Those are the top 5, and I think. I keep switching. I can't choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just not possible. But those are definitely my top 5, and then those series in general for those top 5. But yeah, some great
Solid.
games out there that we've played over the years.
I had
Guitar
my memory
Hero
jogged
stream,
by RDT mentioning St. Petersburg earlier. Have either of you played the Hitman series by any chance?
No.
Oh yeah. I think
Excellent
my first
series.
I got onto
Which
it
one was your
really
first?
late. I played Blood Money first.
Yeah, well, that's a reasonable point to jump in. Blood Money was the best Hitman by far.
Yeah.
The
I
levels are
enjoyed
just so iconic in that game. Like, it's really good, and the rest of the series is pretty good too. The newer ones, give or take, but the old ones are definitely great.
The new what's like free to play, you got to buy the episodes one.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed. I only have 1 or 2 episodes of it, but I think it's really good gameplay. It's better than Absolution, I would say.
I've got to say that people keep mentioning games in the chat, and I just think, oh yeah. I
yeah,
remember,
just
like Age of Empires,
jogs,
for example.
Yeah, we could just sit here and talk with chat the whole
Yeah.
time. Like the
I-
Tony
Yeah.
Hawk Pro Skater series, absolutely.
Yeah, Tony
How's
Hawk. I
that?
forgot
Oh my
about Tony
God.
Hawk.
Oh, have we
Tony
forgotten
Hawk.
about? Have we all forgotten about Tony
Yeah.
Hawk? Can we
Oh,
sit
And
here
Splinter
and
Cell.
talk about
Holy shit.
this? And
I never
Splinter
played
Cell.
Splinter Cell.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Oh my, yeah. There's just games that crop up like you forget about that, and then there's so many games that I realize I haven't played, like all the Uncharted games as well. Just
Hammer,
like,
you shut your mouth
Yeah,
right
you
now.
Shut it up. Okay, Underground and Underground 2 were good.
3? You
Wrong.
don't like
Wrong.
Pro Skater 3 is the one I had. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
The-
that
my,
was the
my
iconic
problem.
one.
My problem with 3 onwards was they changed the control system, and I wasn't as good anymore.
Oh, okay, so it's a personal thing.
Sure, that's enough.
Get out.
So
Get out
one-
with your
one and two
personal
were
bull.
God. But
Man, I
Underground
need
2
to go
wasn't
back.
that
I
great.
need to go back and do a playthrough of Tony Hawk's Underground.
If we're
now.
talking
Like,
about Underground, Need for Speed Underground and Underground 2 were the greatest.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I can give kind of a recent opinion of Underground
Oh
2.
yeah,
I
you played it recently on stream, right?
I didn't finish it, but I did play
Snoop
the
Dogg
majority
Riders
of
on
it.
the Storm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, every time. But, Need for Speed Underground 2 is a quality game.
Yeah, it was really, really good, especially for the time as well. It played into the Fast and Furious movies. That whole that whole theme of car modifications was just so big back then, and those games were perfect for that time. I think they wouldn't hold up now if they were released now, and that's why we see the Need for Speed games now not really do as
Yeah.
much.
Well, I can definitely say that Underground 2 dragged on far too long.
Yeah.
For me. I did quit it early. I
Right.
will admit that. I quit it early because I was in a bunch of cars I didn't enjoy, and I got tired of playing it because it was, race, URL race, URL race, URL race, and that was it. That was the whole game. So
that was games back then.
yeah, that was games back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Midnight Club as well. Midnight Club 3.
I
Never
never
played,
played.
not
Midnight
interested.
Club,
Oh, I really
unfortunately.
enjoyed Midnight Club 3. It's now I think back, I had so many racing games over the years. All the Gran Turismos, all the Forzas, and then all of these other ones as well. But damn it, I've lost what I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say, and then I got it back again, and now I've forgotten it again.
Obviously.
Oh,
Forgot.
yeah, a special mention to a game that I want to give, and I think I've mentioned it once on a stream before, but I don't think a lot of people know about it, is Endless Space. And Endless Space 2
yeah, I don't
has
know
just
about
been released, and I haven't been obviously I don't have time to play games anymore, but it's a turn-based 4X strategy game, and I bought it on a Steam sale. It was like $5 I think instead of 20, and I just thought this looks interesting, this sounds fun, and I spent so much time in that game just playing. I think on my laptop, I was engrossed in it. Like I'd start up a match and I just had to finish it. There's something about turn-based strategy games I really, really like, but the fact that this was set in space, I think, just capped it all off. I'm very much into space games, I think, but yeah, I recommend it to anybody who's interested in that sort of thing. Good stuff. So, I mean, should we move on to our regular segments now? Do you think we're
I
getting
think
to
we still
about
have
that
time.
Good.
time?
I
think we shouldn't. I thought we were going to talk about our history with GTA to finish it off.
I know.
Like
but
you,
We can
you
talk about that
personally.
in another episode.
Maybe
You
we should save
personally
that
said
for
that-
another episode when we
Yeah,
talk
plus
specifically
with a-
about
with a
GTA.
good- Yeah, with a good guest as well. We could have a good guest for that one.
Well,
So
there is one thing I wanted to say
Okay.
as a
then
as a
speak.
nostalgia factor. The GTA series was always something that I never owned because I was always too afraid to ask my mom if I could get them. And it's always like you go to your friend's place and you play them there. And playing GTA 3 was the first time I ever said a single curse word. And it was because I had flipped a car over, and at that time, the car would blow up if you didn't get out.
Instantly.
And he wasn't crawling out. And I was screaming. I went, "Get out of the car! Get out of the car, you jackass!" And my friend's mom comes around the corner and she's like, "Who said that?" Like, "Oh, it wasn't me." And then I got in a little bit of trouble for that. But yeah, that's...
Yeah, there's some serious nostalgia to be had with the GTA game, GTA series. Yeah. We'll I think that's a topic for another podcast. We gotta talk a lot about that. Someone just mentioned, Paint Drinker mentioned about a round of terrible games because you mentioned your terrible games. But
Deadly Premonition is by far the best terrible game ever made. It is fantastic. Please go watch a playthrough of it. Please, the very least, go watch a playthrough. It is just, I cannot.
It's very rare for me to, like, back then I never used to really play bad games because I just play them so much, and I kind of didn't get a game unless I knew or I was really interested in it anyway. But I remember getting, I think it was Simpsons. Was it Simpsons or was it South Park? No, it was Simpsons. Was it Simpsons Hit and Run?
That is not a terrible game.
Simpsons
How
Hit and Run?
dare you?
It might have been. Was that the first Simpsons game?
I've played that recently.
You want like the Crazy Taxi one?
The Crazy Taxi one is Road Rage. That's the Simpsons Road Rage.
I don't know. We're talking quite a way back. We're talking like N64 days, I think.
Okay, no, then this was PS2.
No, PS2. Sorry, PS2. It would be in PS2.
Well, if it was a Crazy Taxi ripoff, it was the Simpsons
Road Rage.
Road Rage.
It might have
been.
If it
was okay,
but
yeah.
I couldn't handle it anyway. The motion, it made me motion sick. I thought it was horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty
I
traded it in. But also, what other bad game was that? Black Site Area 51. It probably means nothing to anybody.
I think I've heard of that before.
There was an original game called Area 51. It was one of the rare occasions where I've actually really, really enjoyed a first-person game. David Duchovny was the voice actor for it in Area 51.
Oh, that sounds
it had a fantastic storyline. It was back on PS2. It was a great game. I loved Area 51. It's a great story and everything. And then they released. It wasn't really a sequel. It was meant to be a sequel, and then it sort of, I think, during the development they moved away from the original storyline process. And the game that came out was called Black Site, but with just Area 51 tagged onto it. And it was just crap. It was terrible.
Yeah, it looks pretty terrible, judging by
nowhere
scores.
near in comparison to what the original Area 51 was. I was expecting a good story and all this kind of stuff, and it was just nothing. So that was one of the biggest disappointments, I think. But I've had
when IGN gives you a 6.5 out of 10, you've made a pretty bad game.
Yeah, we need more non-GTA days. Yeah, true. Go on then.
I've got one for probably NOS, I would say. Did you say you owned a PS2?
I did, yeah.
Actually, I think it was on Xbox as well. What about Destroy All Humans?
Yeah, no, that wasn't a terrible game. You take that back.
No, it's not a terrible game.
That's quality.
I'm saying that this is I'm just bringing it up because it's a great game. Destroy All Humans.
Oh. I never played that.
I hate you.
It's an excellent game.
Yeah,
it's an excellent game.
I love it.
Maybe I need to go back. I need to get my N. I should get a PS2 because I don't really have one anymore. But I'll get PS2, get my N64 and Mega Drive all set up as well. We should do some old maybe a couch stream of old games.
Oh, that'd be great.
Fun.
To answer actual pan, I didn't play Red Faction 2, but Red Faction Guerrilla, that reminds me, a shout to that game. If you two haven't played that game, go play it. It is a great open world. It's set on Mars. You'd probably like it, bruh.
Yeah.
Say it's set on Mars, and you're fighting against the Earth Defense Force, which are trying to take control of Mars. And Red Faction Guerrilla has still, I think this game came out in like 2009 or something, Red Faction Guerrilla still has the most sophisticated and best destruction engine in gaming. Still,
Yeah.
to this day.
Okay.
Even better, like, the only thing that rivals it would probably be Bad Company 2. I've got to say. Like, if you want to see a building fall down and it be authentic, go play that. It is just an excellent
Sounds
game.
interesting. I guess what we should do is Lego Stunt Racers. I remember that game. No,
This whole
hell out of
stream
that
has
game.
just been,
See,
oh,
again,
remember
another
this?
one
Remember
of those
that?
racing games that I forget that I even had. And there's so many racing games that aren't really racing games, but they have a bit of they're not simulated racing games, but they are still racing games. I never played Just Cause games.
Just Cause 3 is really good.
Lego
man.
Races.
I've only
I
played
just
Just
bought
Cause 1 and 2. So,
I think what we should do is, because obviously this is mainly the most people who watch this watch it on YouTube, leave your favorite games in the description of any of the games that in the comments of any of the games that we've talked about or the chat's mentioned, since you can look at the chat. Leave your favorite games, nostalgic games. Let us know.
and if you've played Deadly Premonition, let me know.
yeah, nobody in the chat had.
Yeah, no one in the chat here.
Oh,
live
and
has,
my version of that is Endless Space as well, because nobody had played that either. So
Yeah, no.
let's do our regular segments. I guess we'll do the Choking Hazard podcast choke of the week first.
The Choking Hazard
Yeah.
podcast choke of the week. Let's
Brought to
take
you
it
by
right on
Geek
over
Fuel.
into the choke of the week.
All right,
Let me find the
so
link.
let me
Let
get
me
it
know
up.
what we're gonna play.
Yeah, okay. And then do this. All right. I'll start it now. So,
All right, coming up this very dangerous road here in the Vajero. Good choice of car for this
Major
class.
copyright with this one. Major copyright. I like the Vajero. Great car.
Solid
Close
car.
battle.
Very
Look
good
at
car.
this. There's all of these cars. Third place.
Yeah, third place.
Pushing on for second. Look at this.
Yeah,
Pushing on for the
catching
second
up,
for
catching
life.
up little by little.
Yeah.
Where's the choke going to be? Is it going to be here, there? Where is it?
Oh, he's got overtaken.
No.
Oh, here comes fourth. As we come around Mirror Park, everyone knows this is one of the most dangerous areas to race in the entire game.
Dang it.
Oh,
I'm about to lose 2 positions.
Oh,
Oh, my gosh.
oh, it's a mess.
Oh no!
It's a mess.
It's a mess. Sit
It's
down
a
in the
mess.
chair.
It's a mess.
Absolute
That was
mess.
that was a
What
huge
just
mess.
happened?
All right, let's skip to the next one. From
Let me know when you play it.
Firestarter, who I can actually say Firestarter.
Firestarter.
First place. Oh, that's a flip.
He is coming to
like-
contact with a tree.
Yeah, it's not gone well. Still in first though.
And the finish line is right there. Right there, 2 checkpoints
Well,
away.
So close.
There's a lot of space in between those checkpoints. Not many checkpoints on this road.
So close to the end.
That blows.
If he'd just done that last corner a little bit better as well, he could have carried the speed.
Yeah, chokes on chokes on chokes.
Choke.
Second for life.
What a
Choke
shame.
from the
Forever.
easy win. And then another criminal mastermind choke.
Here we go.
Steal the Valkyrie on our way to steal. Oh! That did not go well.
Oh,
Don't ever
did
try
not
to
go
beat the
well.
train. The train
Damn it,
always
Autumn.
wins.
That was criminal mastermind as well. What?
Criminal
I
mastermind
forget
run
which
to
heist.
ruin
That's the
by
third
the train.
heist, right? The setup for the third heist.
Yes. that
Yeah,
is.
one of the
You make
later
laps.
setups with stealing the
That's
Valkyrie.
brutal.
Oh, so the poll is going up
Right there in chat,
in the
hosted
chat,
by
so
MB Hammer.
all
Vote
of you
for your
guys who are
favorite
watching this live, you
joke of the
can
week.
vote for your favorites. If you're listening to this on the audio version and letting Nos fill out his dream, skip to
Bless you.
about say 50 minutes into the podcast, and you'll be able to watch these if you go back and watch it on YouTube and you want to see all these chokes in action. But yeah, we'll see what. I can't believe that last one was Criminal Mastermind as well.
Yeah,
that makes it worse.
that's-
If that was
yeah,
just a
that
standard
sucks.
heist, that would be nothing. But to get halfway through Criminal Mastermind,
And have
okay,
that shit.
do we have our top Have you guys? Do you guys
Easy.
know which one your favorites are?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's kind of obvious.
Yeah, I think I know. I think I know my favorite as well. I think I have a clear victor in my mind.
It's tough. It's tough for the other two because one of those was extraordinarily terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like one of them was was just awful. One was like your standard, bog standard chalk, and then one was just on another planet in chalk levels.
Really blew it out of proportion, if you know what I mean.
If for those who didn't get their chalk shown or have never had their chalk shown, feel free to, you can resubmit them. If your chalk doesn't win, you can feel free to resubmit it, or you can try to submit a better one. And the links for these things to submit your chalk for the week are down below in the description on YouTube, and they generally gets put in the chat as well.
Yeah, in the
so-
Twitch chat with exclamation your chokes to bring
feel
up the
free
form to submit your own choke for the Choking Hazard
Absolutely.
Podcast Choke of the Week.
So how are we doing?
We've got a winner.
We've got a winner? Okay. Should we give our thought before you declare the winner?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yes.
But we'll close off the votes now. Okay, you guys go.
On the count of 3, I guess, Nos.
I like trains.
Trey. 1, 2, 3, 3. I think.
Yeah. Three
Jeez.
was my choice as well. That was
That is
halfway
absurd.
through Criminal Mastermind, and then it just appears out of nowhere.
What a
Yeah, it's not even like
terrible
the
way to go.
first one. You can't reasonably start over. That whole run's done for the day.
Yeah,
We
that's
gotta-
it.
You're done for a little
Criminal
while.
Mastermind is done. Yeah. That was just
Yep,
awful.
funnily
And the
enough,
train has ruined G-Fred for me so many times that I can feel the pain of that. know
I just
exactly
stay
how
away
that
from
feels.
trains. That's you can only be safe if you don't live anywhere near train tracks and you don't go near them. So trains are very dangerous. It's a PSA from Nos. Don't go near trains.
So 82% of our audience agree with you.
82%.
Wow.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm not
Overwhelming
surprised. So,
majority.
Wait a second. We have
Also
some
likes trains.
some people questioning whether 3 is an actual choke or not.
I would say it was a choke.
If Bruff is okay with it being an actual choke, then no one
The
gets
thing
to
is,
say anything.
it's based on actual chalkiness. Number 2 would be the winner, I would say, from like what is a legitimate chalk from the best position to losing. Number 2 was the one that fulfilled that, but we've had so many chalks of the week winners that haven't legitimately been a proper chalk, and this one I think was kind of on the edge. I mean, it was
had to be
unlucky.
in there, though. It
but-
had to be in there.
You theoretically, he could have done something about that. Maybe he could have braked a little bit earlier if he'd saw it a little bit earlier, or not gone full pelt down the road and rushed
Look
it.
both ways before you
Yeah.
cross the
Yeah.
train tracks. You know.
If you look
I
at
think
it,
it's
the
just
hold
train,
on.
No big
the
traffic
train is
laws.
clearly visible coming down.
I
the
need
street.
to
You can
review
brake.
this for insurance purposes. Can he see the train
Yeah,
before he gets
easily,
there?
Easily, he's just not paying attention.
He was not obeying traffic laws.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could. There was no attempt to break at all. Although the arms weren't down, so I can see a lawsuit in the city's future.
Lawsuit in this. Yeah. But yeah, it's a collective chalk by, as Soriano points out, by the entire crew. Like, it's they're going through this heist, doing a criminal mastermind, and one person has had this issue, and the whole criminal mastermind, they've chalked the criminal mastermind challenge essentially.
One
I
guy failing it for everyone.
So there we
Quality.
go, 80% with the win. Who was that again?
That was soccer balling. Congratulations.
Soccer balling.
Soccer balling. Congratulations, you're terrible. You're awful.
Yeah,
Sucking
you're awful,
balls
you are
and-
useless.
Be careful around trains. Okay,
Yeah.
trains kill.
Yeah.
You can't beat the train.
Yeah.
Train always wins. Did
If
you
you
know it
slow it
takes
down,
over?
you see the brake lights come on. Yeah, at the very last moment. Not quick enough.
Yeah, that was nowhere
So there
near. He
you
was
go.
not paying. He was probably texting and driving.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
But GG to the other two as well. I think the first one was particularly bad, of just an absolute cataclysmic downfall of epic proportions. And then the second one was the truest chalk in, the truest sense of the word, I think. But yeah, good chalks again.
Yeah, good
Um,
jokes.
So I forgot to mention that we should open up the phone calls
Yeah,
for
open
the
up the
community
phone.
People are already
questions.
queuing.
Already
people
queuing?
are
All right,
queuing.
don't
We
even need to
haven't
mention
even-
it then.
We've also had one writing already. It's
All
crazy.
right, okay.
Very
Oh, wow.
good.
Because no
So
one got
you-
to ask
Busy old
questions
week.
last
I'm
week.
going to,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
head
true,
over to the
yeah.
phone bank and
Okay.
speak to our
Yeah, and if you would like to
callers.
get your question in, it's open to subs, Patreon supporters, and to regulars of the channel. You can hop in our Discord, !Discord brings up the link for that, and go right into the phone bank, and MB Hammer will take your question, and you'll be pulled in one by one, and you'll get to ask us a question. Maybe you got a question about, what games we've played. Maybe we've left out your favorite game, and you want to, see if we've played it or something like that. Maybe you want to do that. Just hop right in, and we'll.
Yeah, unless your name is A to the J, stay
that's
out
true.
of there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get
you're
out.
We don't
too
need you.
too
coming in here.
R-rated
Loose
for the
cannon.
phone bank.
What about RDT's Apple Juice Minute?
All right. There's a lot of hype for this. I feel like this isn't going to be as good. And
That's
this isn't
all
a
right.
confidence
we can't
issue.
have a special. We can't have a special one every time. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic.
This is because this one, it's more sentimental. We've been talking about nostalgia all day. And to me, if I'm going to be talking about America's oldest brewery in Yingling Lager, fresh out of Pennsylvania, I'm going to have to go back to my roots. When I drink a Yingling Lager, I think about, the first beer that you take a sip, you tap your dad on the shoulder, you go, "Hey Pops, I want hair on my chest. Let me get a little sip of that brew there." And he's like, "Don't tell your mother." You're like, "Yeah, whatever." And you just slam it down, That's what I did as a kid, at least. I don't know what everyone else grew up like.
How old were you
But
with this?
I don't know, maybe 6, 7, who knows? It's just America's oldest brewery deserves a classy review. And most of these have not been reviews at all. They've just been advertisements for the beer. And I will put my nuts on the line for Yingling Lager, all right? It's Old Faithful. It's true to its name. It is traditional, it's a lager, and it's old. And it's out of Pennsylvania. I sucked these back all the time when I was in college, So Yingling Lager, pick yourself up a couple, get yourself a 6-pack. I got 24 waiting for me. Well, not 24 anymore. I had a couple before this, before we even started recording, actually. So Yingling Lager, enjoy it.
More of a
Responsibly.
it's irresponsibly.
Yeah, there you go.
It's amazing
There
the
you go.
difference in last week's Apple Juice Minute to this week's Apple Juice Minute. Like the it's such a huge difference in the styles. This has been a bit more refined, as Soriano put it.
Yeah.
Toned down a little bit.
Trying to be
Last
classy.
week's was crazy, and then this one.
I'm wearing a collared shirt.
Yeah.
It's got a pocket.
What is going on with RTT?
He's
So-
growing up.
Should we
He's
just go straight
becoming
into
more
the calls?
refined.
Because I imagine we're going to have quite a lot of calls.
Yeah, we've got
for
quite
this
a few
one,
calls here,
since,
so we might want to
since
just go
we
straight
didn't do
into
it
that.
last week and it was shorter. So let's do it. Let's get into the calls. We need to wait for MB Hammer to
MB Hammer
realise
to
that we're
take
getting
all the
into the
questions,
calls after. But
Jaji,
How many
there
do we
has
have?
been
1,
a
2,
Jenny
3, 4,
Jenny
5,
Cream.
6. 6 plus a write-in today.
6 plus a write-in, but the write-in is going to wait till the end. We're going to
Yes.
have all the 6, and if we run out of time, then we're not doing the write-in either.
Yeah.
This is a
You gotta-
this is a
you gotta have
podcast
a-
with you
you
got
gotta
to
have
be
a-
here and speak it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's all about. So really, we're just waiting for MB Hammer to come into the chat and lead the way. Our
Fearless
producer.
Yes, our producer,
He does
yes.
some good work behind the scenes to help this thing run smoothly.
That was a little bit disappointing.
Quality.
Of course.
Quality.
Of course. The quality podcast returns. Where's the waiting
Yeah,
tune?
special.
Yeah, we need like elevator music.
That's all it takes.
Elevator music. Where's that?
Hello, MB Hammer.
Silence.
No, he's got his mic muted. So, all right, he's got them all. We're all ready. All the call-ins are ready. who's our first
I
caller?
did a fantastic job there and actually server muted myself, which,
Oh,
is,
yeah, good
which is a
job.
first.
Well done.
I know. Right. Okay. So first question is from Mr. C. Wilson.
Hello, caller. You're on the Choking Hazard podcast, the show where we eat slow and drive slower. Who's your question for? What's your question?
Hey,
The question is for all of you, and it's simply if you could create one game on a certain sport or topic, what would you create?
A game on a certain sport or topic. That's an interesting one. I've always thought that my ideal game, my perfect game, would be space simulator. Like, if you take like the Mass Effect universe, that level of depth in a universe, in characters and species and all these different planets, things like
So
that.
No Man's Sky, but good.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Not
Destiny.
complete garbage.
Yeah, No Man's Sky is what I thought might have been a thing, but because it was single player, that ruined out everything. But basically, an online version of Mass Effect, like where an RPG, space simulator, universe sandbox, and that where you can like I don't know what World of Warcraft, but set in space, and where you can do all these different things, and it's probably asking too much, I think, for a game to incorporate so many different things like that. It's probably not possible. I know Star Citizen is probably one of the things that is probably the closest to that, and it's something that I am looking at, but whether I actually get into it, I don't know. But that sort of thing is probably my answer.
RDT?
Either the J needs to shut up.
Jesus.
I've always wanted like a GTA style game where just everything was real world and you could just go anywhere in the world, which is going to be impossible to ever make. But I would love to just blow up my own house in a video game. That would be hilarious. Something like that, where you can just go to anybody. Google Maps the GTA series, pretty
Okay.
much. Just
That's ambitious.
yeah, I
That's
know.
ambitious.
It's impossible, but it would be amazing.
Careful, you'll be going on some watch lists.
NSA, I'm
It's his own
kidding.
it's
Okay.
his own house, not anyone else's house. That's okay.
Yeah, I said for the insurance money. I mean, I don't know, for fun.
I don't know. If I were to make a game, it would be one that hasn't been made before, just one that's made correctly. Like you put the crew, and then you put a little Forza Horizon 3, and then you put like the handling of Assetto Corsa, and you kind of stir it all up, and then you get an open world racing game that also has real tracks in it, and also has anything from an old junker that's rusty and barely runs to an F1 car. That's probably what I would make. Just a general open world, huge racing game, basically. That's like all of those games together, but actually good. So
Yeah. On RDT's point of the Google Maps type thing, even something like a GTA style game with the damage of Battlefield, where like all the where you could
That would be
build
cool.
yeah, that'd be crazy.
I really like that idea, Nos. Like a racing, an open
Well,
world
no
racing
one's done
game.
it correctly. Like the
No.
crew has it in some respects. Like the world of the crew is excellent, and it has real tracks in the game where they would be, approximately where they'd be on the map. But the handling is bad, and the upgrades make no sense. And then you have Forza Horizon 3, where the handling's okay, but the world's uninteresting, and there's no tracks, and it's all off road. And then you have Assetto
that's what
Corsa, which is a proper like nearly high-end simulator. So you mix all that together, and then you get your racing
that's a
game.
great idea. An actual open world racing game with real world tracks as well, and then all these cars with some good.
I mean, I
handling
don't
would
see
be
why
good.
they don't just combine the Forza and Horizon series. Horizon is your base thing, and then you go into some kind of menu and you load into the Forza 7 tracks or something like that.
Yeah.
that would
Or
That'd
you
be
can
the
just
easy-
drive to them or something. Or
Yeah, that'd be
whatever,
the easiest way.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Hey, good question.
Good question. Yeah. Thank you, C. Wilson.
Tough one to answer.
Thank you for the question. RDT, you want to take
Okay.
this next call?
Nope.
Well, you're doing it anyway, bud.
The next one's actually going to be a write-in. We've got a write-in from Mr. A to the J.
No, screw the writings.
No, screw the
Screw
writing.
the writings.
That comes
we,
last.
We prioritize
People-
the people who are actually calling in.
Well, he can't call in because he's at work at the moment and he's training someone new. So he thought he should write in. And it
He's
is actually
training
quite a good
someone new,
question.
and he's writing in and watching our podcast.
Yeah. Go on then, for God's sake.
That's
Okay.
fine.
So the question is, if or when our hosts have kids, will they encourage their kids to play video games? And how young will they be allowed to play mature video games like GTA?
That's actually a good question.
It
I'm
is a good
surprised.
question.
I'm
That's why I
Right, good job, AJ.
I am
Good job.
shocked by A to the J and
Guaranteed.
his
There's
his
some
maturity
underlying
in this question.
mischievous.
Well, I'm never having children, but I guess if I did, cue the that's probably good jokes. I don't know, like maybe 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would say that they can play video games whenever, as early as they would want to. Because I imagine by that time I'm still going to be playing video games. But I would definitely watch what I would be playing around my kids. I'm talking so hypothetically because as if anybody's going to want to mate with me. But anyway, I would say like
Please.
mature games, high school. I think
Really?
that seems a little late.
Wait,
I know
for those of us who aren't from the US, what age is high school?
that's like
14.
14, 15.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. The kids just got to be old enough to like understand that it's not real, of course. Which I mean, you can be 6 and understand a video game,
Yeah.
but you've got to also know to like not talk about it a lot. Like
They're gonna be watching porn
like the-
anyway.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like-
the kid can't go around telling everyone how he's killed, 50
So many
men
prostitutes.
and or prostitutes
Yeah.
or whatever in GTA or whatever. Like the kid's got to know, to not.
Yeah,
do
I think
that.
it will always very much depend on the child itself. There's
Yes,
some
it always
kids-
depends on the child. Absolutely,
There's some
children
kids who are 16 and shouldn't be playing 18 games, and then there's some kids who are 11 and are perfectly okay with playing 18 games.
Yes.
I would probably be similar to myself, I think, because I think that worked, and you can play games early on. Like I had the Sega when I was 5, so playing games, just innocent games and non-mature games from any age, that's fine. And I think I got GTA 3 when I was 13. So I think
Yeah,
the
it's a decent
teens. I
age.
think the teens is a good age, as long as the kid has his head on straight. I think 13 is a
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, if you do your
decent
job
age.
as a parent, he should.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, hopefully,
I mean,
yeah.
Look at our own experience. I mean, but what I was talking about, I would go to friends' houses and play because their parents didn't care as much. So as
Yeah.
much as we could, I'm kind of replying to what Catman was saying. Like I would do as much as I can to try to, prevent them from playing those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Playing
and
those
and back then parents didn't really understand. Like the parents of this generation kind of understand. They understand what video games are and what they're about,
Yeah,
even if
they'll
they
be able
don't
to
play
better-
video games.
Yeah, they'll be able
because
to
it's
better
mainstream now.
communicate to the
Yeah.
kids that this is real, this isn't
Yeah.
real, and so I think maybe that will mean that more mature games can be played at a younger age than now.
So
But
make sure your
we'll
kid
see.
has no friends.
That was a good writing question from A to the
Yeah,
J. I'm
good stuff.
very
Thanks.
impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay, good fingers.
But see,
job.
if you don't have children, you don't have to worry about them sneaking off and playing video games. So that's the secret. So let's move
All
on to
right,
the
what's
next question.
Our next caller is Lolfish.
Hello, Lawfish. Welcome to the Choking Hazard podcast. Don't choke and ask this question good. All right.
He choked the intro.
What's your favorite genre and brand of apple juice?
Oh, this is
That's
specifically
just for
me?
RDT, huh?
No, that's everyone.
For everyone,
for-
okay.
Okay.
I know mine. I can go straight with mine. My favorite brand of apple juice is Kronenberg.
Cronenberg?
Kronenberg.
Like,
It's a tasty beer.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Cronenberg world. Like Cronenberg
These are the more refined, very nice beers that we have over in Europe that RDT's mind would be blown if he had access
It's
to.
true, to be fair.
I only drink this drivel when I'm doing this podcast, so you can eat my ass. Just saying.
I've drank that on the podcast before. That's my favorite, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I was drinking New Belgium last week, and that's pretty good. I'm a big fan of IPAs, which I know a lot of people aren't. And my go-to would be Sierra Nevada because it just has a consistent flavor, which they don't. It's a pale ale, but whatnot. But my favorite style are definitely porters and stouts. I love dark beers. This brewery named Smutty Nose makes a really good robust porter, and it's just got this chocolatey, smoky flavor that I love. So dark beers, porters, and stouts. Plus, I'm Irish, so Guinness, obviously. So,
see, I don't know enough about beer and alcohol in general to be able to give these detailed answers that RDT gives. I just know what I like, and that's it.
Yeah.
So RD's answer was all of them.
well, I said IPAs and porters and stouts, but also cheap. Yeah, I like beer. Okay, I just like beer. You guys can all hop off. Come on.
Hey, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
You have a problem.
Go on, Nuss.
I don't drink, so I'll have to go with the drink of my people, Natural Light. So
Natty
just
Light.
for the memes,
Okay,
since
very
I don't drink. So
Mifmaf said in the chat, not Pilsner. And since we've been talking about nostalgic games, does anyone remember the Pilsner game? This might be going back too far for you two.
I think that's too far.
Now, I'm not going to talk about it because it was interesting. Some people in the chat might know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to leave it there.
I don't know that one. I'm an old bastard.
It wasn't a video game as such. It was a web game, interactive like web game. Browser
Well,
game.
I googled it, and there's a chick in a skirt and a bra. What is this that you're turning our listeners on to?
Exclamation mark teenage Bruffy in the chat.
Emphasis on turning.
Oh,
This was before
Jesus.
Teenage Bruffy. This.
Oh my god.
Oh, come on! I can't even show that on stream. Why? No.
Well, I gotta look it up now. Wait, what was it again?
It was
No.
a good game. I don't see what the problem is. It was fun.
Oh, it was fun, was it? You played with a joystick now, didn't you?
No, you just used the mouse.
Yeah.
Wow.
God.
Oh my!
You had
goodness,
multiple
bro.
options, and it was a game of skill. You had to catch the beer
Oh,
bottles.
it had multiple options. I saw multiple options.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness!
It's a funny story.
Don't look
that
that up.
that
That's
game,
not
I used to
safe for
play
work.
that on a browser just for fun, obviously.
Just for fun. Let me.
But,
Did you also
um,
play Leisure Suit Larry, bro?
the actual, it was obviously a marketing stunt for Pilsner Quell, I think the beer was, but I'd never tasted it, and I saw it in Sweden last year when I was over there in one of the shops there, and I just saw it and I thought, wow, that's the beer that I used to that game was advertising and marketing all those years ago. I have to buy a bottle of this and try
I
it.
remember those. I remember that
Was
pair
it
of tits.
shag?
That's a nice pair of tits. I gotta get some of that beer. Basically.
No, I had to try the beer and it wasn't very good. I hated it. Didn't taste good at all. But it's
Oh,
amazing
my
to think that marketing stunt for that game worked about
Sold a
15
bottle.
years later. It actually worked to get me to buy the beer. Oh man.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
Thanks for your question.
Again, don't look that up.
Thanks,
That's not
Lofi.
safe
Thank
for
you.
work.
Appreciate it.
All right, Ruff, you're taking the next call.
Oh god.
So our next question is from the Big Red Machine.
Welcome to the Choking Hazard podcast. What's your question? I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't
Why do you
do.
have to break down into laughter
I
every time?
can't
least I
do it
purposefully
because I don't know what to
Hello,
say.
Colin.
I can't do it.
You're about as smooth as a house brick.
There's no way. I can't. I resign from doing that intro. I can't do it.
So
What's your question,
alright.
Big Red Machine? Hello.
Big Red, hello?
Hello. Okay,
Did he-
see, we've failed on all counts.
Did he? Yeah, we failed everything.
I
hear me?
choked you in.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Sorry,
There we
sorry
go.
about that, guys. All right, so this one's for RDT because Bruffy could get in trouble with Xerxes, and Nos is a 17-year-old boy who lives with his mama.
Excuse me, I'm 20, you bastard. You shut your mouth. I still live with my mommy, though, okay?
All right,
It's very
be
efficient
salty
for
later.
men and money.
All right,
Don't
RDT,
judge me.
what's the dumbest thing you've done while intoxicated?
What's the dumbest thing I've
Oh,
done while
okay.
intoxicated? I stole a car bumper once. But
Why?
Was that in Philly?
What kind of car? What kind of car?
I don't remember. I don't know. I
You were
just
too drunk?
took it. I was with my buddy. Took a car bumper once.
I'm one of those
I don't know
pricks
why.
that stole a Mercedes logo
No, I've never done that.
when I was drunk.
Wait, you did that?
Yeah.
I've never really done
stole,
anything like that when I've been drunk. I'm too much of a
I
goody goody.
also stole a street sign because the street name was Quality Street.
That's a quality.
I agree with your decision.
I'm not.
I agree
I'm
with your
not.
decision.
Yeah.
I would
I'm not.
I would hang Quality Street behind me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would get the box of sweets as well.
Well,
to-
what
to have.
RDT and Nos probably don't know is that Quality
Yeah.
Street is a chocolate, a box of chocolates
Ah.
Okay,
brand in the UK.
great.
It's still a cool sign, regardless.
I don't really
It
do.
is.
I don't really do like dumb, illegal, outrageous things when I'm drunk. But I think the stupidest thing that Jerry and I ever did was, I think we watched the movie Zoolander literally 3 times in a row, just cause
That's
back
pretty
to
stupid.
back.
I'll-
It's
That
just
is
so
pretty
stupid.
stupid.
'Cause
That's
we're
way
like, I love
stupider
this
than
movie.
stealing a bumper for sure.
Yeah, so that was just the dumbest thing that I've ever done.
I just remembered a friend and I had, going back from the pub completely plastered, we found some roadworks and we picked up the traffic barriers used for the roadworks, and they're probably about 10 foot long each, and had a lightsaber battle in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
I like how A to the J's just got a lot of
You're
Zs.
48 years old. All right, you can tell your crazy
Yeah.
stories. I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know, I've got other
Thanks
things
for
that I'm
that.
not
Thanks for that,
trying to-
RDT.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
good
Big
question.
Machine. Thanks for the question.
Hey,
Sorry for the mediocre answer.
Right, who is next? Master Ferret is next.
Hello, caller. You're on the Choking Hazard podcast. Who's your question for, and what is your question?
It's for mostly everybody, although you've sort of spoken about it a bit, Nos, and that is your thoughts on iRacing.
Thoughts on iRacing. Okay. I guess I'll start. I have spoke. It seems like a quality. It looks like it's microtransaction to hell and very expensive, but it's definitely the premier racing simulator right now. Like, if you want the most authentic and realistic experience, that's the one you go to. So, yeah, seems like a pretty quality game.
iRacing, subscription-based racing simulation released by.
So the RDT doesn't even know what it is. So
I think the fact
Sounds
that it's
good.
subscription based is like it's a big turn off.
oh yeah, it's a
I
huge
imagine
turn.
to a lot of people.
But they understand what they have. They
Yeah.
have the most sophisticated racing simulator on the market right now.
Yeah.
So they're going to monetize it as much as they possibly can. As good as Assetto Corsa is, it's still not where iRacing is in terms of realism, I don't think.
And I
Or at
think
least that's what
iRacing
meant.
has the backing behind it of there's lots of
NASCAR. There's
racing
there's a
drivers
sanctioned
that play on
NASCAR
them.
championship
Yeah,
in
it's-
iRacing. So
I don't know. It's difficult with racing sims because it doesn't seem like there's one sim that does everything. There's
Yeah.
always iRacing may do the physics the best, say, then Project Cars has the tracks modeled the best, and then you've got Assetto Corsa that has the best car models or something. There's always something that is lacking in each single one that just doesn't quite give us the full complete racing game that we would really want and that everybody would be able to get behind. I think it doesn't exist. So to me, iRacing is just the same as all the others. It's another simulator racing game, and I just don't have the interest in sims anymore.
Yeah, well, for me, the reason why I like iRacing so much recently is the fact of just the online infrastructure and how it's all set up is very, very, very well done. I can go into an online race and I know that if I race smart and I don't screw up, it's a hard fought top 5.
I mean, that's good. I mean, that's one of the better things that probably these other simulators don't get. You've got to have that good matchmaking and good racing system to be able to be put with people who are on your level and things. So yeah, I can see why it is, you know, the number one, to be honest, for the absolute, those who want to race seriously. And then I think the others are kind of not as good for those who want to race totally seriously, but they've got plus points in other areas that might appeal. Good question. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Who's next? Death.
Hello,
Deathly
caller. You're on the
Silence
Choking
is
Hazard
next.
podcast. Who's your question? And what's your question? Who's your question for? What's your question?
Oh,
You might
the
be
master of it
dead,
is choking over here. God, I hate you
RDT.
so
I'll
much.
choke you. Hello, QuickNet. Who's your question for?
All right, I was just curious if you guys would it would be more so for, well, I guess all of you. It'd be just, would you consider doing a slight change to the choking? What's it
Have
called?
you choked on the question?
The choke
Yeah,
of the
you-
week, quick.
The choke of the week.
Yes, the choke of the week.
Good
Actually,
job.
that might be the choke of the week. Would you consider changing it so you have the last week's winner run up against the 3 new guys?
Oh, kind of like an ESPN Sports Center top 10 kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean that's a decent idea.
I mean, we could
Should
we could either do that or we could do like every 10 weeks or every 20 weeks.
I know
or
what you
something.
want to do. You want to do a bracket. I
You wanna
see
do
it
a chat
already. I see that website and then your face in the corner doing a little bracket like you always have.
No.
I can see it. No, really.
My thought was going to be we play all the winners in one round. It's like a best of the chokes of the week, and then people vote on what they think is their number one out of all the ones that we've seen.
Oh,
so far.
okay. I figured you just want to do a bracket like you.
I mean,
always
I do like brackets. I do like votes. I do like that sort of thing. But
Where all the white women that should have won. Just so you know.
choke bracket, choke spreadsheet. I do like spreadsheets. I like voting things. What can I say?
I kind of like the idea of having a week-to-week winner, but still having 3 and deciding who wins out of the 3 and put them up against if it's better than.
Yeah, but then that's only like
so
2
we have-
clips that get in every week. So you
No,
know.
do you
what-
mean like we have our
What I'm
3
saying
clips?
is 3 new ones.
Yeah.
And then you pick the winner of the 3 and pit it against.
Oh, okay.
Last week's. It
Yeah.
might be an idea. Well, I
Yeah.
tell you what.
RDT
we'll,
is exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. If you have
See?
if you have
Fucking
any
genius over
preferences on this, everybody listening and watching, get in the Discord and go to the Choking Hazard podcast text chat and let us know in there what your thoughts are. Would you like that sort of thing, or would you prefer a best of sort of thing every now and then, or something like that? Let us know. Interesting
Yeah.
idea. Thank you, QuickNet.
Thanks for the question and / or idea.
Yeah.
All right. So
Black Witch Porter.
who is our next caller? MB Hammer.
Do we have time for one more?
How many people do we have left?
Just one, but it's going to be quite a long question, I think. maybe.
Let's
Yeah,
do
okay,
it.
let's do it. We were short last week, so.
Yeah, we got to give it back somehow.
No problem. Our next caller is C. Balbuena.
See,
Oh, caller, you're on the Choking Hazard podcast. Who's your question for? And what is your question? You might want to unmute him, MB Hammer.
I already have. He's muted
Okay.
himself.
He might
so-
want to unmute himself.
We had a lot of chokes with the callers
Yeah,
this
we've
week.
had quite a
with
few
us
well-
and the callers.
Yeah, I think it's the more there are, the more likely it is to choke. So
Yeah, probably.
has Seaball stepped away? You can't just step away when you're in the
Well,
phone
he-
bank.
he-
You got to
he's- I
stay
mean,
at attention.
If he steps away when he's in the phone
Maybe-
bank, he renders his
Maybe a call of nature. You never know.
his questions gone. Like that's his
Possibly.
chance to answer.
Speaking of Call of Nature, I'll be right back.
Oh, you can't.
It's-
This
it's
is
it.
just.
I can't
It's-
believe
it's
this.
falling
He
apart,
couldn't
isn't it?
hold out for like
Falling
5 more
apart.
minutes.
I can't believe that we have a co-host of the podcast who leaves in the middle of the podcast to go.
Can we
pee.
fire him? Can we fire him?
Who would we replace him with? Who should we replace? Don't say it to the J.
MB Hammer.
MPR.
we
Okay,
go.
fair enough. RDT's gone. RDT's
Sweet
gone.
promotion.
Alright.
Let me get some of that Geek Fuel money, boss.
that 0%
Yeah, exactly.
that we all get.
Give me a slice of that 0%. I'll take that.
I can't believe he's actually left. Like,
I know. He's done
we're
this
at the
before,
end of the
though.
show.
He's done this
Yes.
before. He just leaves. He thinks it's acceptable to leave the podcast mid-podcast.
Oh, Seabell just unmuted himself. Get him back in here so we can hear this question.
Okay. And
There we go. Question. Who's your question
there
for?
we
What's your
go.
question? You've been wasting our time. We've been sitting here waiting for 2 minutes. Where were you?
Sorry, I had Discord having issues for me, so yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, that's excusable.
Blame
Anyway.
it on the
Yeah.
Discord.
All right.
So what's your question?
So I was saying, I told MB Hammer about like my history about like the video games I had before, and I'm gonna say the hardest missions ever when I played like on the GTA series. Like for example, Vice City Stories, they have a hardest mission like that's called the Boom Shine, something like that. I remember that, and I want to know your thoughts about that mission.
That
Well-
mission specifically.
Yeah.
I never played
Wow,
Vice City Stories.
yeah, that's a real Hail Mary, assuming that we've all played it. I have played it.
No, wait, I have played it, but I don't think I finished it. I finished Liberty City Stories, but I didn't get all the way through.
Because-
I probably got to that
the-
mission and I gave up.
Could
I can't
you-
remember it, but it's probably. I was on the PSP and I didn't really use my PSP much,
Because
so I can't.
this mission is hell of a
Could you
hardest
describe it
because,
for me
like,
real quick? Because to
it's
jog my
like-
memory.
it's like you arrive at a warehouse and then you do the moving the boom shine thing to a truck, and then you gotta beat the heat level thing that it might blow up the warehouse.
I remember that. I don't think I had any problems with that mission, honestly.
Because for me it took like 10 times to complete it, and then I rage quitted. I raged, and then I was like, "Fuck this mission," and yeah.
The thing,
Until when I
that
complete
was
it,
the
I was
same
like,
thing when I
yeah.
played Vice City back. There was always that people said the RC mission blowing up the.
Oh yeah, that's
That people always said that was difficult, and I just went in, did it first time, and it was all fine. Like I think some missions are considered to be harder than others in general, but sometimes it goes to your playstyle, or you just figure it out straight away, and you don't have a problem with it. But I don't think there's very many hard missions in the latest GTAs. Just talking about hard missions in general now, I think hard missions aren't really a thing in GTA anymore, from what I can remember. But I enjoyed the challenge of them in the older GTAs a little bit. But yeah, they could be rage-inducing as well. This is true.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, roughly, I don't remember the GTA 3 mission that you gotta take a car to defuse a bomb that was called Red to Blow. I remember that mission.
Yeah, I remember that one. I played GTA 3 recently.
Yeah,
So
me-
What was
You
the
gotta do
question?
what?
we're just talking about hard missions in general. RDT.
Yeah. Because,
Okay.
like, for example, you take the Inferno to defuse the bomb, and then, for example, you take like 1 or 2 hits, then boom, the car explodes.
I vaguely remember something like that. But
Yeah, I remember that one.
I
Like
can't
I said,
remember,
I've
I can't
played
remember
it
having much of
recently,
an
so-
issue with GTA 3 missions, to be honest.
But hopefully, with the future of GTA, they might make like more hard missions, and then people might take time to complete it. So we'll see how the future is gonna be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, hopefully we get some more hard missions in the future. What the future's going to be for
And
GTA
making
in
people
general.
rage,
That's
that's
a
what-
whole other can of worms. we'll have to discuss that on another podcast. Thank you,
I-
Seabell Burner, for the question.
Yeah, thanks for the
Appreciate
question.
All right. Wish me luck.
I really don't think we'll see any hard missions. Have you seen how pissed off people are getting at the Crash Bandicoot?
Oh
remaster?
yeah, everybody's hating Crash Bandicoot 'cause it's so difficult.
Everybody's
remaster.
not happy because it's so difficult.
People have forgotten
games
what
are
actually
not-
games are like.
Yeah, games are not a challenge anymore. Going
No, it
back
doesn't
and playing
seem
some
to
of
be.
these old PS2 games, it really gets you to remember like how much of a challenge things are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like the story-driven stuff where I know that they're giving a bit of a bad rap, story-driven games where there's not a lot of challenge to them and you don't have to master anything. You're just going through the story, and I like those for the interactivity, and I like the story, and I think it's a better way to consume stories instead of just watching a movie, for example. You can actually get into it and affect it. But I also appreciate games that actually are a challenge as well. and take a bit of learning, and it's not just a case of doing a mission and being able to do it first time straight away without any skills whatsoever. And I think that is being lost a little bit from games. And maybe it isn't, because I mean multiplayer has kind of taken the aspect of that out of single player games, really.
Taking the reins of the skill barrier.
Apart from Dark Souls, obviously, is the one big exception.
Yeah.
But the multiplayer has become such a huge thing, online multiplayer, that the competitiveness is all in multiplayer. You don't need to have the single player aspect be difficult anymore, because if you want challenge and you want to have some skill involved, you go play multiplayer these days. So maybe that's why.
I don't know. If you're looking for a game that's difficult to play, you're gonna find it, and it depends on the difficulty that you set it to as well. Like I just got on sale. It was like a Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, and trying to play that on the hardest difficulty is,
Yeah, I guess that's true. A lot of people probably don't play on the hardest difficulty of games, but they can be very difficult. But I think that's where GTA in particular.
Yeah, well, we can't confuse difficulty for making enemies bullet sponges and you made of glass. That's not difficulty. That's just. I don't know how to describe that, but that's not difficult. It's just.
Yeah, I guess that's not really requiring a skill to master. That's just taking your time and doing it a bit better than you did last time. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it for this week.
I think that is it.
I've enjoyed the topics of conversation.
I thought that was nice.
We need to mention Geek Fuel once again.
Geek Fuel.
Do you want to do the read on that, or should I do it?
Why don't you do it this time?
All right.
What?
Okay.
No.
I don't have anything actually prepared to read, so I'll just free ball it.
Yeah. You'll do what now?
Going commando on it.
Yeah. Our sponsor for this episode has been Geek Fuel. They've very kindly sponsored and supported this episode in particular. And basically the deal that they have going on at the minute is if you use the link geekfuel.com/Bruffy free box, you get a free Geek Fuel box. All you have to do is pay shipping and handling.
What? A free box?
You get a free Geek Fuel box. For those who don't know what Geek Fuel is, it's one of these subscription boxes. It's obviously those who've watched my unboxing videos have seen it a lot. It was always one of the better ones, and they're very confident about the boxes that they've got coming up. So they're doing a first in this space and actually giving boxes away for free. You only have to pay shipping and handling, which is $6 for US customers and $12
worth of merchandise.
$12 internationally.
Sweet as hell T-shirt, I guarantee it. I haven't seen the T-shirt yet, but it's sweet as hell, I guarantee it.
Yeah, the T-shirts are always good. There is a Firefly item in the next box as well. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, really? I love Firefly.
Yeah, Firefly is so good.
That's
if you have to use the link geekfuel.com/Bruffy free box, and you'll be taken to the page where you can claim your free box, and if you can, there's no strings attached. You can just cancel a subscription. You don't have to sign up to a subscription. All you have to pay is the shipping and handling, and you get a subscription box for free. You can try it out, see if you like it. So yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Geek Fuel, for sponsoring and supporting this episode.
Excellent
of the Choking Hazard
product,
podcast.
Excellent people over there.
Yeah,
and all you people driving to work right now, you can thank them too.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, those who continue to listen to the audio version of the podcast. We appreciate you.
Be sure to upvote us on iTunes and give us a review. That really helps us out.
That's true. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave a like, comment, all that good stuff if you enjoyed.
Leave a like, comment.
Subscribe.
If this is your first time, subscribe. There we go. We've
Sellout podcast at the end.
Yeah, we've reached sellout nirvana here.
Yeah. Okay, that'll be it. Do you want to say bye, guys?
Goodbye.
See you later, guys.